But she's not causing a disturbance. She's not hurting anybody.
You're not listening.
I mean,
it doesn't. None of that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. She can't do what she's doing. She's filming me without my permission on this property is not acceptable.
But I mean, she's allowed to. That's not against the law either.
Dude, she's not allowed to do what she's doing. You don't get it. This is government. Dude, yes, she is. This is government property.
Right.
Not public. She can't do it here without written permission and consent. When I ask her what she's doing and she refuses to tell me, she's leaving property. That's all there is to it.
I mean, from my understanding, she's not breaking any laws.
Sir, you're not getting it. This is county government. Do you know what the rules are here at the county government facility here? Do you know what they are?
Anywhere open? I mean,
sir, I'm asking. Please, do you know what they are? Do you know what the rules here are?
No.
I do. I do. That's my job. I'm telling you, she's not allowed to do what she's doing, and I want her off property. Period. It's really simple. She's not allowed to do what she's doing, and after giving me the hard time, I want her off the property. I got other things to tend to.
I mean,
the clerk, you most certainly are allowed to escort her off property. Yes, sir. I've had it done many times, so please don't tell me you can't do that. That's incorrect.
But she's not doing anything.
Oh my goodness, we're going to go over this again? Yes, she is. She is violating the rules here.
Welcome back, my PBM family. Welcome back. Another episode of Old School Cops. I'm riding shotgun with my boy Shane. Shane, listen, bro. I love the fact that the cop stood on this Constitution. I love it. I wish I would see more of this. And don't let that stop at a security guard. If you see one of your boys in blue crossing that line, let them know, nah, chill, you can't do that. You can't do that, right? I love the fact that he stood on business. Shout out to that cop. I'm going to give him an A, regardless of how annoying this cop was. Not the cop, but the security guard was. The cop just stood on business. He's like, nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. You know, like I was taking a class with a constitutional attorney, and, you know, we was talking about a lot of policies and rules in the Constitution. She made a very good point. She says the police department, when they make rules and policy and procedures, they sit down with the attorney, and the policies supposed to mirror the Constitution. Do you know why that is? And I was like, yeah, so the officer can actually follow the Constitution through his policies. And she said, exactly, because nothing supersedes the Constitution.
That's right.
Look. Nothing supersedes the Constitution. And I had to say that again because the environment we are in today. You got some people out here thinking that they can just do what they want instead of following the Constitution. Exactly. So I like the fact that he stood on business. He stood on the Constitution. And look, he's talking about, do you know what the rules are? Like, the rules don't supersede the Constitution. I'm glad the officer pretty much stood on Constitution. I'm going to give him an A for standing on Constitution. Job well done, officer. Keep up the good work.
I got to agree with you. You couldn't say it better. If you remember in Police Academy, we had 3 weeks of constitutional law, 3 weeks. And for our viewers, we got to let them know that taking photographs of things that are plainly visible from the public space is a constitutional right. I say it again, taking photographs of things that are plainly visible from the public is a constitutional right. The courts have ruled that even private property that is visible now from public spaces is not protected by privacy laws. So as long as one is standing in a location that can be legally accessed by any member of the general public, one is free to photograph whenever one can see. Being present on someone else's private property generally requires the property owner consent to take photos. But if you're on a public property, if it's a government public property, you are protected by the First Amendment. It's okay to take pictures. You're legal and it's in your right.
And with that said, I like to piggyback something that happens day in and day out with law enforcement, right? I'll be the first one to say, yo, follow the Constitution, right? But understand something, right? If I'm the officer and I'm making an arrest, don't be right here with your camera trying to get your shit. Give the officer some, give him distance, because what's going to happen is the courts have given officers a lot of leeway when it comes down to officer safety. So if an officer can articulate very well that you was so close that you was borderlining his safety. Now he had to take actions because you might can hurt him all this close. I've seen it time and time again. It'd be a traffic stop, somebody's getting arrested. You see somebody with the camera, they so close. I ain't doing nothing. Yo, give them space. The technology with cameras these days, you don't have to be that close to get your shot. Give them enough space to where they can't say, yo, I'm interfering with their safety or whatever business that the officer's conducting. Give them that space. The last thing you want to do is get into a confrontation with an officer while he's making an arrest or conducting some form of investigation, and you're so close now, you become a part of the problem, and he's going to lock you up. You're going to be in court trying to explain. All I was doing was recording. I have a First Amendment right to record. He's going to say they were so close. I told them to back up. I got a subject here. It's a safety factor. They refused to back up. So I locked them up for interfering with my investigation. That's not what you don't want to be in that situation. Give the officer space, put your camera on them, continually record. You don't need to be part of the problem
now.
On the recording.
Exactly. You can zoom in from a distance. The cameras are so powerful now, you can be standing 10, 15 feet away and zoom in as if you're close to the person. So give that officer some space, give him that time so you won't wind up behind bars yourself.
Yeah, and with that said, like I said, when we come down to it, your fight goes in the courtroom, as we showed in a previous video. Yo, officers are catching it. Let them have it on the side of the road. You win. There's no wins on the side of the road at all. Not one. Not one. Regardless of what you think, not one. Even the officer that caught the L, he got punched in his face, dropped. The suspect got in his car. Suspect got flipped, taken to jail. Another charge, assaulting a police officer. That's a felon. You don't win. None of that is a win for anybody outside of law enforcement. And nobody wins that. So what I'm telling you is take your L on the side of the road, get him in the courtroom. Either the case gets thrown out, it becomes a civil matter, you get a bag, and putting pressure on an officer who lost the case, who lost the civil case, then now the department puts pressures on him. That's how you win. That's how you win.
Exactly.
So with that said, y'all be safe, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.